Hey everybody, welcome to the SimHanger. Thank you very much for joining me today, and let's get started. And I know there's a lot of Airbus pilots out there that have been waiting impatiently for WinWing's EFIS, Electronic Flight Instrument System. These are not standalone products but designed to be used with the WinWing FCU. Want to know more? Check out my video, link in the notes below. It's a great opportunity for you to complete your A320 panel, and in this review we'll be looking at both the left and the right EFIS. Each unit is an individual purchase, prices as displayed above and are subject to exchange variations. Prices displayed include shipping etc. for those countries as indicated. For those ordering under global shipping elsewhere in the world, shipping and associated additional costs are not included. Please note there are timestamps in the notes below this video. Now, I've been lucky enough to get my hands on both the left and the right hand EFIS. Let's first have a look at the left-hand EFIS. As we've come to expect from WinWing, their packaging is excellent. With each unit you get a data connection cable, some sticky pads, a whole bunch of screws, an assembly widget, two stands which are exactly the same as the FCU unit, a screwdriver and some Allen keys. Everything here you need for assembly. Most of the screws in fact are for the stands, but some will be required for assembly to the FCU unit, along with two plastic brackets. And I'll show you exactly how to assemble it later on in the video. But first, let's have a look at the unit itself. Now, I'll say from the outset, if you are expecting the same quality as the FCU unit, well, you will not be disappointed. All the switches, dials and buttons have a nice tactile feedback, and copying the Airbus unit exactly is the ADF VOR switch. To move the switch from one position to another, you need to pull it out and then move it, to prevent it from being accidentally knocked. The whole unit is made out of a hardened plastic. The labels themselves are not stickers, so they won't peel off. If you follow this channel at all, you know I review a lot of hardware. Quality-wise and value for money, well, I can tell you right now, it's right up there. Before we give the unit a test, let's see how we put it together with the FCU. At the time of recording this video, the manual was not yet available. With each unit you get two of these brackets. Lining up the FCU to the EFIS, you can see the bracket fits into the slot provided. The second bracket supplied with the unit will fit on the base or bottom of the unit, as I'm indicating here. To attach the brackets, a fairly straightforward process using the screwdriver provided. Remove the three screws as indicated here. They're relatively short screws with nuts. Don't lose the nuts because you'll need them for assembly. And with a packet of fittings provided, you'll see the same size screws but much longer. Push them through the unit, through the bracket, and fasten with the nuts, as shown here, and that's the top done. Underneath is much the same with one variation. On the FCU, there's a threaded insert. Using another of the longer screws, fasten the nut. And on the FCU side, you can use one of the shorter screws that you previously removed, or a screw with a hex head that's provided in the packet. Either or, doesn't really matter what you use. The net result is a firm and stable fitting. The unit is firmly attached now to the FCU. Let's now turn our attention to the right-hand unit. As in the real Airbus, it's basically a mirror copy. It attaches to the FCU in exactly the same manner. And everything I've said basically about the left-hand unit applies to the right-hand unit as well, as you would expect it to. The barometer dial also has a rotary switch to let you change between hectopascals and inches of mercury. I'm now going to go ahead and attach this to the FCU, and at last we can get our hands on the complete panel. And here it is. WinWing state that this is a 1-to-1 replica. It's full size. And the assembly or attaching mechanism works extremely well indeed. There's absolutely no movement. It's a clever and efficient design. Almost ready to go now. All we have to do is attach the cables. Firstly, attach the two SATA cables to the EFIS units from the FCU as indicated. The cable is malleable so it fits into the slot very nice and tidy. There are many different mounting combinations. But if you wanted to use it on your desktop, for example, I'd recommend you do what I have done here, one stand on either side. It's very stable, but as mentioned, there are a multitude of different mounting options available, both with and without the stands. All of this is powered by one USB. It's the USB cable that came with the FCU. There's no power adapter required or anything of that nature. Plug in the USB and you're ready to go. The software that supports these units, SimAppPro, shows the 3 units connected. Click on any one of the units and details under the Test tab are shown. What I really like is that all the 3 units are shown together, so you can simply scroll across and do a full system check. This just lets you check that all the lights, switches, buttons and dials are working and so on. I've selected the left EFIS and the lights come on. You can do a similar test for the LED, and of course you can test the various buttons, dials and switches on the unit just to satisfy yourself that everything's working as it should. And of course the big bonus with this software is there's absolutely no configuration required. When you're in Microsoft Flight Simulator, it auto-detects what Airbus you're flying, be it the Fenix A320, default version 2, fly-by-wire and so on. A list of compatible aircraft is available on the WinWing site. You can finish a flight, for example, change from the Fenix to, say, the default version 2 A320. You don't have to exit the sim, and the software automatically reconfigures itself for that aircraft. Well, everything seems to be working on the left EFIS. Let's scoot across to the right-hand side. And we can carry out similar tests on the right EFIS. And of course you could do the same on the FCU unit as well. The software is easy to use, it's very intuitive. Simple graphical feedback, which again is a big plus for WinWing. Well, that's enough of that. Let's jump into Sim and give the products a test. We're going to start off, we're in the Fenix A320 CFM. I'm at the gate in Munich Airport. I've already put my flight plan in, the relatively short hop today to Bern. But before we depart, it's a great opportunity for us to test both EFIS units and assess just how well they'll perform or otherwise. And as before, we'll start off with the left-hand unit. I've had the METAR and QNH's 1005, so we can just dial that in. The dials have that ratchet feeling that you expect from an Airbus. And as mentioned, I can switch to inches of mercury or hectopascals just by moving the rotary dial. So far so good. Let's see if we can set it to standard. Yes, we can. Press the button in and we reset to local. Using the switch we can change our navigational display. I've turned it to ILS, VOR, nav, ARC, and finally I'm going to move it onto the plan as I want to have a look at my flight route. Keeping an eye on our MFD, let's test some of the buttons, constraints. We can see it displayed in magenta. It's showing a speed limitation of 250 knots. We can select waypoints, VORs in the vicinity, or alternatively NDBs. And we can also select airports, and they're displayed appropriately. Not sure if you're able to pick that up, so let's have a closer look. First of all, constraints. We can of course change our range, currently set to 40, I've changed to 80, and one thing you'll note is that there's next to no latency at all. The sim is responding to the inputs from the device instantly. We can now go on and have a look at some waypoints. Once again they should be shown in magenta, there they are. We can also have a look at VORs, NDBs, and last but not least any airports in the vicinity. For departure, I like to have it on constraints, so we can go ahead and test other buttons and functions. But what I really like is, remember, there was no configuration required. I haven't even looked at the control options menu. No need, SimAppPro has done it all for me. We can just quickly check the VOR and ADF switch. ADF1 is indicating there. Change it over to VOR, and yes, it's showing there as well on the MFD. As far as I can tell, everything is working exactly as expected. No flashes, hesitations or anything of that nature. Let's now head across to the right hand side and we can give this a quick test. Obviously I've tested every switch and dial, but I don't think we need to run through all of them. You can take it from me that it works absolutely faultlessly. We'll just do a few tests for the benefit of you skeptics out there. Once again, looking at the MFD, let's change the navigation display As I've already input the flight plan, I can vary the range as needed. That's a bit far out, let's get a little bit closer in. That looks a bit better for takeoff. You may notice on the physical unit that the lighting itself looks a bit glary. That's primarily due to my poor videoing skills. Actual lighting on the unit is very good indeed. And once again in Sim, you can adjust it as needed. I've now changed to the A320 version 2, a default Airbus. Still at Munich, and just give a quick test to see if we've got compatibility, which we do have. Now, happy to say that everything seemed to work just fine. I haven't tried it with version 1, the original default A320 in Sim, but with version 2 out, well, it begs the question, why would you? I also did a quick check to make sure that it's working with the fly-by-wire A320, and I can confirm that is the case. But I haven't tried with any of the other models at this point. I haven't tried it with the A310, but I'm sure we'll have a fair amount of compatibility with that one as well. Well, if you stuck with me this far, you know exactly what I'm going to say. WinWing once again have knocked the ball out the park with an excellent addition at a very attractive price, and product should be shipping very soon. The product comes with a 1-year limited warranty. Well, I hope you found that useful and informative. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up, it helps the channel. Thank you very much for joining me today. Stay well, look after yourself, see you again soon, and ciao for now.